Morning, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Love 500 and welcome back to day 3 on Project Bambi. Today we are going to start getting it cleaned on the inside, try and get this car finished. Might be the last video with a bit of luck, might be one more, not sure. Enough waffling, let's get on with it, let's get it clean. Okay, so I haven't done anything on the inside yet, but I thought we'd just have a quick look in here. You see me clean all those seats. I still got to do the ones inside the car. There were some strange stains on. I don't know if you picked that up especially on the back seat actually. Some strange stains. Again, you know, it's not a leak in the roof. That's not been leaking. It's not water stain. Don't know what it is. It's almost like it was oil. We don't know, of course, whether it's come out because obviously once it's wet it all blends in, so hopefully when it dries it will dry out. There was some brown muck coming out, but it looked like something had been spilt, so who knows, I don't know, we'll have to hope. So it's going a bit manky down here, a little bit mouldy. I've had a lot of this recently with mould, don't normally get it, but I say mould, it might be not be mould, it might be just where, again, things have been spilt. Now, what gets me with this car is, you saw this on the walk around, there's a bin. So, you know, something that you buy for the person who's got everything, an in-car bin. When you've got an in-car bin, why don't you use it instead of just chucking your crap everywhere? Unbelievable. I mean, I say she, it's going to be a she, isn't it? I'm not being sexist, I'm just saying it's a she because we've got, you know, diamante things in there, we got these things, which are presumably for a kid, I would imagine. Could be a bloke, but probably a girl. That's pink, so, you know, yeah, all right. No, I'm not being sexist, am I? I'm being, what am I being? I don't know, realistic maybe. Yeah, I would stake my pension on it that this belongs to a female. So, yeah, why not use a bin? But it does again, I don't want to be sexist, and I know I've got female viewers, so please don't unsubscribe to me when I say this, but it does seem to me, and I know it's some of you, and I know there's at least 2 subscribers on here that I know of that quite often comment that do look after their cars big time, but I do find that the females, they put petrol in it and that's about it. You never hoover it, you know, never clean anything, don't even clean the car. You'd be lucky if they go to a supermarket. You're not a supermarket, you know, one of these things where you get people to clean cars in car parks and what have you. Lucky if they do that. They probably just let the rain clean their car, which is why they're always paintwork's quite flat. So, you know, it's raining now, but as you can see, that is as flat as a pancake. There's no beading whatsoever. So, you know, when was that roof ever last waxed? Probably never. So yeah, it's a bit of a mess in here. Just a couple of things I'm going to do that I decided to do the other day when I was in here. Being like a pop spec, although it's got aircon and so on, we've got a cigarette lighter socket, accessory socket, whatever you like to call it. I am going to put in a socket in there with a USB. I know I'm putting that stereo in as well, but I'm going to put one of those in as well, so some people can charge their phones from it and so on and so forth, rather than having to use that. I mean, I've got an FM transmitter here, which, you know, I could just leave in there, but I'm pretty certain I've got one of those because I did it in a previous pop car. You just drill a hole in it, screw it in. So I'm going to rake it out of one of the drawers, wherever it is, in the garage, and put that in. I am going to clean that door card. I'm not going to bother with this one because this one's got to come off, because I think, or should I clean it anyway? I suppose I might as well clean it. But I've still got to go up in the loft and get, hopefully, a matching door card to that one. Hopefully. But yeah, so I am going to hoover all this out, and then we'll get these floor cleaned as well. I don't think you've seen what's behind at the moment. Now, when you see, by the time you see this video, you would have seen what has literally just been delivered. My next project has been delivered. I'm not even going to bother showing you. I'm just going to get it into the frame just ever so slightly. There it is. You see it? Just in the frame there. You know what it is because you've already seen it. It's literally been delivered. I've driven it to that point. That's all I've done. Yeah, you would have already seen that. But so I'm not going to try and hide it from the shots in this video. And I'm actually probably going to do a walk around video on it. Actually, I'm going to put it in front of the house. I'll do the walk around video later. So apart from those brown bits that were coming out of where those stones are, as always, you know, they didn't look particularly dirty. But when you look at that water, you see how dark black it is. A lot of froth, but dark as anything. Very almost like moisturisey, like. Once that sucked that out, it's like Dove. That's what it is. It's Dove soap. Other soaps are available. Anyway, I'm waffling now. Right, sorry. I know I'll get berated for waffling. Let me get on with it, and we'll see you. Yeah, I'll see you once all the carpet's clean, and we'll go from there. That's all sparkling clean now. I've cleaned both door cards, even though I'm not going to be using that one. I don't think. I will have another go at getting that on, actually. I don't know why the hell it won't go on. It's very strange. But yeah, no, carpet's all nice and clean now. What I'm going to do, because I've got my new project, which I've now got in front of the house, I don't want to leave the our bath, which should hopefully be sold tomorrow, and they will take it with them. But I'd rather get the our bath down the drive. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to continue working on it, even though it's a horrible day, it's raining on and off. I'm going to continue doing what I can, And then by the end of the day, what I'm going to do is one of my spare blue seats that I've got, you know, the one that came out the Sport, that I think, the one that I jet washed, which is damaged. I think I've still got the driver's seat. I know I did sell one of them, but I can't remember which one it was. So I need to have a look and see which one I've got. Because the idea is just to put that in temporarily, and then just park it out on the road just with one seat in it. It's all taxed, insured, MOT'd and so on. So, you know, it's quite legally being parked out on the road, not a problem. So, the Abarth is out on the road at the moment. I've taxed that so that can go out on the road. As I say, that will hopefully be sold tomorrow. But I want to continue. Obviously, you saw me cleaning the back seat as well. I'm going to clean out in the boot. I'm going to do that in a minute. But I'm just thinking, with no seats in there, what I can do. So what I think I might do today is take that off. And if I can find that USB thing that I was talking about, I will. I can't remember what size the hole is now. I think I used a step drill on it, if I remember rightly. But I can't remember to what size, but it's just a bit of trial and error. And we'll put that in. And then what we do is we wire it into the cigarette lighter, which of course we need to make sure is actually working as well first. So we'll plug something into that just to make sure it is actually working. Yeah. One thing. This is really annoying. You know, there was obviously some issues, not issues with the aerial as such, but we knew that those panels were loose, both sides. And the headline is loose one side, so we thought something's been going on with the aerial. Now I can't remember what the radio station reception is like, I'm not sure. However, I mentioned to you, let me just go and see if I can find it, bear with me. Yeah, if you remember, I said to you the other day on the last video that I was going to take the aerial off and soak it in D101, which is what I did before. So what I did is I started to unscrew it. It was really stiff, and as I went dump, it snapped. It snapped. Now this happened to me recently on an ordinary pop aerial, and I had to put a new base on it. I mean, you could potentially try and drill that out. There's no way you're ever going to get that out. No way. So this is now absolutely useless. So I went on, and I know they're expensive, and I went on to eBay, and I've luckily found an original one, mast and base, brand new, that the bloke had bought for a previous car and are no longer needed. 40 quid. I think it was 40 quid plus £3 something postage. So that was dispatched a couple of days ago. So I'm hoping it might come today or tomorrow. I could potentially do that today if it comes. But that was really annoying. I can't believe that's 2 in a row I've done that on. So whether some plus gas in there or some WD might have helped give it a soak before doing it, I don't know. But yeah, I think in future, if they're really stiff, which they're normally not, but if they're really stiff, leave them alone. Get some plus gas in there if you do need to take it off. Otherwise, leave it. But yeah, I reckon it's probably was bad reception. That's why, and they probably got in there to have a look. But yeah, it's just, as I say, it's a specific colour therapy one, and they are expensive. But lucky for me, I got one for 40 quid. So we've still got to do the wheel trims, of course, but that I can't do that on a day like this. I could start preparing them, I suppose, but you know, there are other things to be getting on with, so I might as well get on with the other things. The wheels are all done now, as you know, on the last video. So yeah, I'm going to have a look, see if we can get that done. But first of all, I'm going to clean in the boot. Right, I got all that off. As I knew I was going to take it off anyway, I wish I'd done it now before I cleaned underneath. There's a nice McDonald's chip there, and there's some hay there. That'll hoover up fine, and then I'm going to go over it with some elbow grease just to clean it up. But yeah, I should have done that beforehand. So that's the cable. It does work, I've tried it. Now I can't remember, obviously the black is an earth. I can't remember which one is the live, because what you've got a live for the illuminated ring around the outside, which is in a lounge. This isn't a lounge, so it doesn't have an illuminated ring. So one of them's that, and the other one is obviously the power for it. Now I think the one I need is the grey and red rather than the yellow, but I can't remember. So I'm going to have to get a meter out and switch the ignition on and try it, just so we know that we're tapping into the right wire. So all I do is I'll take that bit of tape off there, cut the wires, join them there with a little wire loom. Call it a loom for want of a better word. Let me just show you it. There are lots of different, I bought a box of 2 of these. So you've got this little thing here, which you've got loops on there, but we'll obviously be taking those off, unless there's anywhere where I can screw down an earth, in which case I won't take that off. And then you just put them onto the terminals. And under here you've got 2.4 amp 5 volt times 2, and it's got a nice little it's actually got a power button there. I think that probably just lights up. It's not a button, I don't think. But yeah, no, use one of these before. They're really good, and they're really cheap. And I'll say I've got a box of 2, so I'll just do the old solder joints onto there. But I need to get that cleaned up first. So yeah, let's do that. As I say, we'll clean these up, and then I think what I did before was I put it just there. I think that's where I put it before. It makes sense to put it there, doesn't it? I think it adds a little je ne sais quoi to a car that hasn't got them. It's with very little effort, really. So we'll come back once we've got this cleaned up. I'll say we'll test this wire, and then we'll show you how I'm going to do it. Right, so I've got step drilling. Got the thing here, and what we need to do, it's quite big. I think it's about 2 from the end, which is, where's the sizes on here? 28, it's either going to be 28 or 30 mil. So we'll go up to 26, I think, and then see how it goes. So, right, let's do it. Let's go, I think about there. That's about centred. If I remember rightly before, when you put this in, it was a little bit close to that edge. So I'm just going to maybe come a little bit off-centred. No, let's go centre. Right, here goes nothing. Ready? Scary. What are we up to now? A long way to go yet. Oh. Let's pull out, said the bishop to the actress. Oh dear. Me and my double entendres. Let's have a look at that. It's better to be slow and precise. Stop making your own jokes up, you're filthy. Right, we're up to, I think we're up to 28 now. Maybe it's, I don't want us to go too much. That's the thing. Well, maybe it's the full 30. Are we up to 28? Oh no, we've got one more to go. Let's go one more. Right. I think that's right now. Yay, there you go. Perfect. So that was, let me see if that was 28 or 30. Yeah, that was 30 actually. It goes up to 32. So it's actually 30. So it's quite a nice clean cut. And then we've got the ring that goes on the other side where we tighten it up. So that turns around. So right, so if that's the front of the car, you want the like the type on it which says about, you know, the ampage and so on. You want that to face the back of the car, don't you? So when you're sitting in the car, I know that we're flipped at the moment, but it'll be be this side, of course, but it'll be the right way up. We don't want it upside down. That makes sense? So we tighten the ring on. Really easy job. What I did contemplate doing is putting another one in the back. I think if it was my car, you know, if you've got back seat passengers, you know, they can use it to charge their phone. Get it tightened up as much as we can by fingers, and then I think it's quite tight actually. Oh no, it could still go a bit more. Ah, yeah, see, it's doing what it did before. You see what I mean about the, let me see if I can get it in there. It's touching the edge of the cup holder. So I could have done with coming back, coming that way a little bit towards the back. Only a smidgen, but I think that's why. That's where it gets stuck. So I'm just going to get a pair of pliers and, or actually a screwdriver, and just push it round a little bit. Because it's only a little bit and it just needs pushing around just a smidgen, because you don't want it to come out, of course. It needs to be in there tight. Yeah, that is exactly the problem I had before. Is that going in? Anyway, I won't bore you anymore. I will get this in so it's nice and tight, and then we'll come back. We're nearly there now. Right, that's all as tight as I can get it. And what we're going to do is we are going to slip these. They are separate. So they're marked up, which one's which, minus obviously the black. And the red. It's actually got an inline fuse as well, which is quite good, unless it blows when you've got to take it all off, of course. Don't really need an inline fuse. I suppose if you weren't wiring it into your cigarette lighter, which has obviously already got a fuse, of course, in the fuse box, then you wouldn't need to. But yeah, so that's on. All we got to do is to find out which wire's which in the car, and or wire to it. So I'm just going to get a meter on that, and we'll test that. We'll switch the ignition on and see if it lights up, and then we'll know which one it is. So that was easy. So all we did, put the ignition on, and there's contacts just there that you can put your probes on. So I just put the black into the black, and then I guessed Graham red is the one we want. Now the yellow one I'm not sure if it's connected on there because this is a pop, and I don't think that has a ring around this one. Don't think it does. No, don't think the pop does. But it's the same wiring loom. So what that is that ring comes on when the lights are on. So that if you wanted something that was powered when the lights were on, then you could wire it to that. Which, if you were putting some lights under here, you could. In fact, I'll test that in a minute, because if you were going to stick some LED lights here, you could wire them into there. And that would come on when you switch the lights on, which would be quite cool, rather than having one all the time. So that's a good way of wiring things into the lights. So if you was going to be putting, there are various lights that you can buy on AliExpress. You can put lights into under here, so you could run through there, out here, underneath, along here, connect to that. Some people connect up there, but I think it's probably easier to do it down here. So yeah, there's various things you can do. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that ignition's off. I'm going to cut these wires, do some solder joints on them, and then connect it all up and put it all back. Right, now I have found some lights that I bought on AliExpress ages ago. So they're little tiny LED lights. There's 4 of them in a pack. I bought 2 packs of them. And what I've done is I have plugged them into the yellow wire, plugged the white wire into the yellow wire and the black wire into the earth wire. And look what happens if I turn the ignition. Well, the ignition's on, they're not on. Look what happens if I turn the lights on. We have a little blue LED light, which I can stick under there. So I'm actually going to, seeing as I've got all this off, and seeing as this car's blue, I'm going to install them under here. I'm going to put one under here and one under the other side. I think that's a nice little touch. What do you reckon? Or am I being daft? I mean, you could stick them. You could stick one on there. You could stick one here. Although that's bent, of course. Bent. That's a shape. You can't shape these, obviously. Where else could you put one? You could put one there. You've got to run the cable. You've got to drill a hole and put the cable through, I suppose. But that's not the end of the world. So you could do that. There's all sorts of things you could do to customise the inside. I mean, it's nice having lights inside your car. So I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to get some more wire, because they're not very long. They could do being a bit longer. So I need to get some wire, which I've got. So yeah, I'm going to put one on both sides. Okay, so we're all put it wired in. I'll just put that in there just to make sure everything works. So if we turn the ignition on, we get the power on the new one, and we get the power on that adapter. So we know both of those are working. And then if we turn the lights on, you will see that. And there's another one over there under that little panel. Don't worry about that beep, that's just the airbag lights, airbag warning. So yeah, it all works lovely. That was pretty painless to do, apart from having to lean over a wet carpet. Yeah, turn the lights off, it goes off. Turn the ignition off, and they go off. Excellent, I love it. Oh dear, yeah, good. So right, it's actually a good opportunity for cleaning those up as well. So we'll get those cleaned up, put it all back in. Obviously run the cables. In the meantime, hide them all out of the way, and there's some little sticky pads that they're only very light, so I don't think they're going to fall off, unlike some things that you stick on with sticky pads. I like that. Right, okay, so it's all back together. Wires are run. I'm not going to stick those up yet, because as the car obviously inside is wet, i.e. damp, I didn't want to stick it up on, just in case the dampness makes it fall down. I may even put a little blob of super glue on it as well, just to hold it, because I don't trust some of these cheap Chinese glue things. But as I say, there is no weight in them, but if you knocked it with your foot, but I suppose even if it was super glued on, if you knocked it, it would probably fall off anyway. But I don't know, I'll see how it goes. I'll stick them on there and see how robust they are. If they're not, then I'll get a bit of glue on there of some sort. But it's all nice and clean now. Obviously it's damp in there. I'm still contemplating. I need to look for this seat actually and see if I've got a driver's seat. As I say, I sold one of them. I'm not sure whether it was passenger or driver. Can't remember. Because ideally, put a seat in it and then stick it out on the road. Right, it was a driver's seat, so that's now in the car. I've stuck those up. I decided to stick them up. They don't show up much during the day, of course, but if I turn the ignition on, you can barely see them. You can barely see the light. You can on that one, but that one's facing down a little bit, or forward a little bit. That's why you can see that one. So that one, you can see it there because it's just sitting on the bottom of the airbag. But you can't see that one. It is a light, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, there you go. You can see it on my hand. So I'll have a look when it's dark. But yeah, I think I've done everything I can do now until the seats are dry. So everything inside is clean except for the dashboard. So we've got the aerial to do, the wheel trims, that little bit of damage on the seal, and a service. I managed to sort that door card out, which is good. Let's just turn that off, end up with a flat battery. And of course we've got to install that funky stereo. So yeah, I'm pleased with that. I haven't done that much today really, but considering it's been raining on and off all day, it's not too bad. Right, morning, welcome back. It's been quite a few days since I cleaned those seats and put that old 500S seat in just to get the car moving. The car has been sitting outside the house ever since, so I can't even remember when it was. Almost a week ago, might have even been a week ago. I have been doing other things. I've been getting the old bath finished. The old bath is actually sold, got the money, and it's going today. So Keith is picking it up at 11 o'clock this morning. That's in about an hour's time. The seats have been in the conservatory ever since, drying. They're now obviously bone dry. A little bit smelly in there, a bit musty in the car, just because it's been shut up, and it was obviously not dry. It all feels dry in there now. There are a couple of faint hints of mould growing. I'll get rid of those. I'll get the old enzyme on that to kill off any spores. I've got the windows open. It's a relatively warm for February in the UK anyway. It's about 13-14 degrees. Bit windy, just for a change. But I've got the windows open just to air it out. I need to get the seats back in. Unfortunately, my neighbour's van is parked down there today, which is a bit of a pain, but you might see another car behind me, which you may recognise. Let me just turn you around and show you what it is I'm also doing today. It never stops. Right, so there's the seats ready to go in. So you may recognise that from what you can see of the number plate there. This is, for those of you who remember, not that long ago, Project Ryvita. Project Ryvita had a little crunch in a car park. Someone backed into her. It's done a little bit of damage down there. It's not too bad. It's cracked the paint there, paint's cracked there, we've got some scuffs there. Probably going to need a little bit of filling, a tiny little bit, nothing much, and then obviously give it a bit of a paint. So the person was happy to pay for it, and I said, look, I'll do it for you for 70 quid. Now, I don't know what it's going to be like match-wise, because this was a bit of a nightmare to match this wing. Oh, she's crunched the wing as well. When was that done? Now, that car was parked facing in last night. I wonder if she knows about that. So it was parked facing that way, so pavement side in. So nothing's hit that this morning. I've literally just driven it down the drive. How strange is that? Don't think she's aware of that. I'm better text him and ask him. I can't do that, that's too much. I wonder if he knows about it. Right, I'm going to drop him a text, but I've got to sort that out anyway. And there's a little chip on the bonnet she wants me to sort out. I better take a picture of that and send it to him. Right, the seats are all back in. And they are looking fabulous. No stains left on them, which is great. I'm doing the aerial now, so as we know, this was already pulled down, and this was already hanging down. So someone had obviously, I've pulled those off a little bit more. Someone's obviously had a little go at it. I think I'm going to be able to do it without taking these off. It's already a little bit creased here, but once we've got it all back in position, it should be okay. So let me just show you the aerial I've got. There you go. So I've got a nice white aerial base and genuine, as you can see, and a genuine mast as well. Look at the difference in the colour. I mean, I would have cleaned up all right, and I would have rather not had to put a new base on it. But yeah, annoying that when it snapped. I don't think there's really any way of getting it out. I mean, you could potentially drill into it, I suppose, and use an easy out, but I question whether it's worth it. So I'm going to get that one off, do the usual, clean up around the hole, put a bit of silicone around it, and then get the new one in. Right, it's a bit of a problem. I've put it all back together, the aerial, and it's not actually, let's tighten it up a bit more. Don't think that's going to make any difference. It's not finding any stations when you do a search. And when you manually, I've manually tuned it to heart, and it's all crackly. Now, someone has been in there, I showed you before, someone has had that stereo out, so I'm wondering if it's the stereo. I wonder. Brand new aerial, unless of course the aerial's faulty, which is a possibility, I suppose. Unlikely. Brand new, so that's a bit of a problem. So there clearly was a radio signal problem, which is why the back was down in the first place. I think we need to get the stereo out, because there's always a possibility, of course, that it's, if someone's been messing around with it, there's always a possibility that it's not connected at the back. Who knows? So we need to get that out anyway, because we've got to fix that vent. I think, but I'll get it out. We'll have a look. If it's not plugged in, or if it looks damaged, we'll try and do something with it. Failing that, not quite sure what we're going to do. Oh, did you spot the deliberate mistake the other day? Wipers are on the wrong side. I don't know how I did that. I've done that before actually, so I need to take those off and swap those over as well. Schoolboy error. Right, I've put that, I've mounted that on the dash, I'll show you in a second, but I'm going to take the stereo out, just to have a look at the aerial at the back, and just in case it's the stereo. I've got this stereo, which has even got a pin number. This is out of a previous car, I can't remember which one, but it doesn't matter, they're all the same, so it can go in with the pin number. You just enter the pin number, so there is always a possibility that it is the stereo. But that, as you can see, is mounted up there, so it's up to the person who buys the car as to whether they want to leave it there, or whether they want to move it closer to the windscreen, or just don't think you really can move it much closer, or stick it to the window, potentially in a different position. Yeah, and it does. There is a quick release on it, so it can come off. It can also fold flat if need be. I would imagine probably take it off for an MOT. So I don't know whether they would consider. It doesn't block the windscreen, but whether an MOT tester would consider it to be, I don't know. I really don't know. But I don't know whether that's going to stick there or not. It's got, as you can see there, it's got 4 screw holes. I think you can see. So it can be screwed to the dash, but I'm not doing that because I don't want to make screw holes in the dash. But I need to get this stereo out and see if we can figure out why this radio's not working. Hopefully it's not the new aerial that I've just put in. I can't see that it is. So yeah, let's get the stereo out and then we'll have a look. And we'll come straight back. Well, the aerial was plugged in. Strangely, when I took that out, there was some moisture around it. Now I don't know. Yeah, look, there's moisture there. I don't know if that's where I've sprayed and cleaned the dash. I don't know. But there was definitely some moisture around there. Don't know. But what we're going to do is we're going to plug this other one in and see if that works. In a way, I hope it does, because then I'll just ditch that one. If it doesn't, then it's back to the drawing board. Don't quite know what that will be. We've got to get those out anyway, so I'm just going to connect this up. What should I do? No, actually, I'm going to do these louvres first, because as you know, that one's come off. So I need to take this off and fix it, and then we'll put that back, and then we'll connect up the other stereo. Right, that's the other stereo in, and it's not working. Got the same. Don't know if you can hear it. Just about hear a signal in the background. 106 point. Just about hear it. Really, really poor signal. So I wonder if it is that aerial. I wonder. I think what I'm going to try, I mean, that was a brand new aerial. What I'm going to try, I think I've got a spare, actually I can take one off another car. I can take one off that car. No, I don't want to do that. I was going to say I'll take one off of that car, but if it breaks like the one on this one did, I just want to try a different aerial and see if it makes any difference. Otherwise, I don't quite know what I'm going to do. Short of getting an FM aerial and plugging it in there and sticking it to the windscreen or something like that. Don't know. I'm going to have to think about this one. Right, so I fixed that, and then I thought, let's feed this wire through. So I took it apart again and then fed it in from the back. It's not getting in the way, and the vents still operate fine. So I think once it's in place, we can pull it through as much as it needs to pull through. And that'll be good. It'll hide the wire away then. And I think what we'll do is I was going to try and take this off and try and feed it under here, but I think what I'll do is I'll feed it down the back. I'll take this off, feed it down the back, and then we can bring it around and hide it all, so it's all hidden underneath. That'll be the neatest way of doing it, and sort of more of a permanent installation. We can always pull that through or push it back if need be. If someone decides to move it somewhere else or whatever, without taking the stereo out, I say it might be better. They might feel it's better on the windscreen or further back potentially. It's up to them on how they do it. But yeah, I like it. It's getting there. This has stumped me. I put this. We had 2 codes written on here. It wasn't the first one. It locked it out, but it was actually 5644. So we'll cross that one out with a pen. So I know it defeats the object, but generally people don't steal stereos anymore, do they? Well, they might steal that type, but they don't steal these because they're coded to the car. And I know people aren't interested in these, so obviously it does have a value if someone steals a car, but yeah, I'm not bothered about the fact that that's got that on the back. So I think what I'm going to do is I've tried that other aerial, didn't seem to make, I took the one off the Sport, didn't seem to make any difference really, not so as you'd notice. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm not going to put the stereo back properly. What I'm going to do is I don't think it's a stereo, can't be, because 2 are the same. I'm going to get one of those cheap aerials on eBay that you stick to the screen, just so I can try it. I think you can get them, just so I can try it and see if that works. If that does work, then it must be that aerial. Oh, I mean, potentially the cable, but why would the cable have failed? It's alright, this plug. More likely that aerial, which is a bit of a nuisance because I just paid 40 quid for that. But yeah, that's what I'm going to try and do. So I'll have to order one from Amazon and try it afterwards. But I'm tempted to. I think what I'm going to do is order an ordinary black aerial, and then if that other one doesn't work, I will take that aerial out that I've just put in and put an ordinary black one in and try that. I'm wondering if it's not grounded properly. I don't see why it wouldn't be. You know, like so the car acts as a ground plane. where it's clamped to it, but it is clamped to the underside, so I can't see that would be an issue necessarily. Interestingly enough, when I had the radio going, when I took the aerial off, it didn't seem to make any difference to the signal, so it's almost like the mast wasn't there, or it's like there isn't an aerial at all, and it's just using the cable as an aerial. That's what it seemed like. So it does make me wonder whether there is a fault in it. I did definitely plug it in. Yeah, definitely plugged it in. I know I did. Yeah, I've never had this before. Strange one. I'm sure we'll get to the bottom of it one way or the other. So that's the sort of reception we've got. Really not very good. That's come up, of course, straight away with Apple CarPlay.
And this is the only game that can win you $1 million on the radio.
Yeah, so we got that on. There you go, it's playing now. Right, the stereo's just sort of pushed back gently, just so we don't have to get the prongs in there again. As you can see, the cable's all nice and neat. It's all working lovely. It's all run down behind the thingy, doodah, what's it? And the wires here. It might be better, and I might change it actually to run it the other side over here, that way, because obviously the cigarette lighter is this side, so it won't get in the way of the USB things that I put in there. So yeah, I'll probably swap those over. Now what I've done is I've not ordered, I'm going to order this evening, one of those aerials that you sort of stick on the windscreen, and I might stick it on the back windscreen if it works. Not on the back windscreen, sorry, on the back side window. Run the cable up there. I did that on it was a DAB one that I ran, not an FM one. They look the same, and they just stick to the window. And I've got an ISO to DIN converter. It comes with it, and it's like $6.99 for the aerial and for the converter. I was going to buy a pack of 2 converters for $8.99 and then an aerial for $7.99, and then I scrolled further down and saw you can get the 2 for $6.99. So I'm going to order them this evening. Are they actually going to, the joys of Amazon, they're going to come tomorrow. So I will try it, and hopefully we'll see if it works. If it works, then I won't worry about these aerials. I'll just leave the aerial. I say I'll leave the aerial. I will still get a standard aerial, I think, and try it. I think. Don't know. We'll see what how that other one works like. We might just leave it like that, and then the aerial on the roof will actually just be for show, which is a bit daft, I know, but yeah, we'll see. I'm going to order one anyway, from eBay, because I think I've used up the ones that I had. So I'm going to order one anyway, and then when it comes, I might try it. We'll see, because apart from the service now and swapping those, actually I'm going to do that in a minute. Swapping those wipers over, and just a final clean on the outside. I think we're done on this car now. Now we've got the seats back in, everything's clean inside. As soon as we've sorted this out, we'll be done. Yeah, I think so. I don't think there's anything else to do. Oh, the wheel trims. That's going to take a day to do those, but I'm anticipating the car being finished by next week. So what I'll do is, that thing will come tomorrow. I'm actually working tomorrow, so what I'll do is I'll come out on Sunday, see if we can get that to work. It'll be a 5-minute job. Plug it in, see if it works. And then if it does, job's a good one. And then what we'll do is I'll message the bloke who is desperate for this car, for his daughter, and say I'm anticipating it being ready next week. Right, so the weekend has come and gone. This was ordered after that last little clip, so we've got this, and of course that is the wrong connection, but within the pick, or within the actual thing itself, is a converter. So we plug that into there, and then that goes into the standard Fiat. Is ISO to DIN, DIN to ISO, I can never remember which way around it is. So what I'm going to do, so this thing here, as we've spoken about before, and as I've used before, on a DAB aerial, you can buy DAB equivalents of this. I stuck it to the back window, sort of just there, the side back window. So what I'm going to do for the time being is I'm going to plug it in, and I'm just going to put it on the dash and see what happens. Obviously an FM signal is slightly more forgiving than a DAB. Now the DAB seemed to work okay, but of course with DAB you've got it's digital, so it's like ones and noughts. It's either there or it's not there. You don't get anything in between. With, of course, with an FM, you do. Now, I'm going to have a look and see on Amazon and wherever else I happen to look. I'm going to see if there's, because it would be quite handy in the future, I think, see if there's anything you could buy which measures an FM signal. You plug your aerial into it and it measures your signal. I'm going to see if there is anything that you can buy. I'm sure there must be. Similar sort of thing to people use in when they're doing satellite installations, I would imagine, to test the satellite signal. So yeah, I'm just going to pull that out, plug that in and try it. I have ordered an ordinary bog standard black aerial as well, and I am going to plug that. I'm going to drop the headlining down again and plug that in just to try it and see what happens. I'm not going to take the other one out. Now, the only problem with that is, of course, assuming that these work in the same way, going back to the old CB radio days, where you had your aerial on your car or on your chimney or something like that, and you had a ground plane. So on your chimney, you had like big prongs that stuck out at the bottom. That was your ground plane. And as far as I'm aware, on a car with an FM signal or any radio signal, it would use basically the ground plane. So the aerial is connected to your car by the metal, i.e. the clamp that clamps it to the bottom of the roof, and that sort of makes your whole car an aerial, if you like. I'm assuming that theory is still sound from my days back in the 80s with a CB radio. Obviously, science doesn't change. So yeah, let's try it anyway. So I say when that aerial, depending on what the results of this are, we know it's not the stereo. I think we can be pretty confident it's not, because we put the other stereo in, it does the same. Funnily enough, I've just looked back at the walk around video, or the first day when we noticed that headlining was down. I watched that back this morning, and I did actually make a point of, well, the radio actually works, which is interesting. So I can't remember to what degree. So yeah, don't know. Anyway, let's try it and see what happens. Right. So I've just got that wedged in there for the time being. It's FM in it. It's not GPS. It doesn't need a line of sight. And there's no amp on it or anything like that, so that's just plugged into the aerial socket back there, as you can see. With the keys, right, we're going to switch the ignition on. I haven't done this yet, so if there's music comes out, which I hope it does, I will have to mute it until we change radio stations. But let's give it a try. Let's turn the lights off. That doesn't sound, but although that's set to that at the moment, so let's. It's very loud. I'll turn it down. So what's that set to? Let's put that back in there for a second. 102.4, I'm not sure that's a... Oh, it's finding stations, look. Yeah, it's working. 1.1058. It's not finding 106.2, which is heart. What about capital? So it is working to a degree. So it's skipping past 95. But it is working.
David is right now. He's preparing to take someone on a.
But that is a bit. It's a little bit distorted, isn't it?
It is because of the song 7 Days.
Yeah.
Oh, we met the girl on Monday too.
Yeah.
So 87.5 is that. That's why there's no signal on that at the moment. Oh look, I've got a message. Apple CarPlay. 102.2, I think is 105.8. Don't know what that is. So let's go 106.2. Let's do it manually. Yeah, see, it's still not strong. Oh! Excuse me. Let's get that out of the way. Turn off. Right, so that obviously means it's either, could be that, I suppose. There's the possibility it's that. If I had a spare one, I would cut it off and rejoin it. Oops, sorry, I'm pointing in the wrong place. I would cut it off and rejoin it. It doesn't look battered or anything like that. It looks perfectly all right. So it's either that, the other end, the cable, or that aerial, that new aerial I bought. So I am going. So I'll say I've ordered another aerial, ordinary one. I am going to try it because there is always a possibility that it is that aerial that's faulty, or the plug. Don't know, do we? But so that is working to a degree. This isn't the best place here for a signal. So again, you know, I will put the thing back and I will, well, depending on what the result is with the other aerial, we'll fix that up properly, because at the moment, I say it's just, let's dangle it down there. So to all intents and purposes, that would sort of be like being stuck to the windscreen, wouldn't it? So I'm going to give it another try. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for the time being, to be honest with you. We'll come back in the other video, the next video, when we get the ordinary aerial, so we can try that as well. But I'm going to have a little play around with this. So it's still not scanning very well, but as I say, this isn't particularly a good place for a signal down here, but got the news on, so it's a little bit crackly, a little bit.
Capital weather. Keep up to date on Global Player.
Yeah, it's not ideal, but yeah, better, much better. We're actually getting a signal now. Right, so I'm going to bring this one to a close now. This video, it's about 50 minutes long now, so we'll bring it to a close. Yeah, still a little bit to do, but I think we're going to have, I was hoping this was going to be the last video, but clearly there was a few other bits to do. So sort the aerial, do that bit on the sill, service it, refurbish the wheel trims, and then give it a good clean on the outside, clean them and wax, and that'll be it, job done. So I'm hoping to get it done next week, finished by the end of next week, or the end of this week, and the wheel trims is going to take the longest, but obviously while we're painting those, we can be doing the seal and backwards and forwards. So yeah, so I think we'll get it done. I think we'll get it done this week. I have texted the bloke and told him that I'm hoping to get it done by the end of the week, so I think that'll work. Oh, squeaky clutch. I have a squeaky clutch pedal, so I'm going to put a new earth strap on. I'm going to clean that up, and I'm going to grease it up, see how it is. If not, I'll have to change the cylinder, the slave cylinder. I have got one if I need to do it, so it's just a matter of getting that clip out so you can reuse the old pipework. You can't always get them out, they're a bit rusty, but we'll give it a go. Anyway, we might not need to do that, hopefully. But that will all come in the next video, which will be the last video of this car. And then hopefully by the end of that video, we'll be done. So, as always, if you're not a subscriber, please hit the button, subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, and until the next one, take care, stay safe, and we will see you soon.